In a valley cradled by emerald hills nestled Willow Creek, a town steeped in the art of the written word. Here lived young Leo, a boy barely tall enough to reach the highest shelves in the grand library, yet whose heart yearned for the ancient wisdom held within its scrolls. He wasn't boisterous or boastful, but he loved the meticulous craft of inscription more than anything. Every afternoon, after the day's lessons, he'd hurry straight to his parchment, eager to practice. Yet a shadow always dimmed his passion. His quill. It was old, its tip frayed, its wooden shaft splintered near the grip. While other scribes wielded elegant, gleaming instruments, their ink flowing perfectly, Leo would quietly tuck his hand into the folds of his cloak, hoping no one noticed his humble tool. And every time a delicate character smudged or a line veered off course, Leo would sigh, muttering, "If only I had a proper quill, I could create masterpieces." The truth, however, was far simpler. Leo rarely practiced beyond the required lessons. He often skipped the foundational drills, made excuses for his mistakes, and blamed every imperfection on his quill. Master Ilara, the valley's most revered scholar, a woman who had guided dozens of young scribes over the years, observed this pattern. She saw how Leo had convinced himself that excellence was solely about the instrument, not the diligent hand behind it. One evening, Master Ilara conceived a plan, not to admonish Leo, but to impart a lesson that would echo through his life. The next day, Leo was walking home alone, along the same winding path that led through the whispering woods, a peaceful trail, lined with ancient, gnarled trees. But this time, something extraordinary caught his eye. Beneath a grand moss-covered oak lay a stunning quill. It shimmered with an inner light. Brand new, untouched. He glanced around. No one. As he bent to pick it up, a deep, resonant voice echoed from behind the tree. "Only the chosen ones can wield this quill." Leo gasped, startled, scanning the woods but saw no one. The voice continued, "This is an enchanted quill. It appears only to those destined for greatness. Wield it, and your words will never falter." His heart pounded with exhilarating hope. Could this truly be the turning point he'd awaited? Without a moment's hesitation, he grasped the quill. It fit perfectly, balanced in his palm. He smiled to himself, already envisioning flawless scrolls, public acclaims, a legacy of perfect prose. The next morning, Leo entered the scribe hall with a newfound arrogance. He barely reviewed his daily lessons. After all, the quill would handle everything. During calligraphy practice, he sat still, expecting the quill to glide effortlessly across the parchment, forming perfect characters on its own. Instead, his hand still wavered, the ink bloomed unevenly, and a splotch of black marred his most important assignment. Laughter rippled through the hall. Embarrassed and fuming, Leo returned to the ancient oak tree that evening. "You lied!" he shouted at the unseen presence. "You said I'd achieve greatness. This quill is useless." Just then, the same voice spoke again, softer this time. "Magic doesn't work without effort. You believed in the quill, but not in yourself. The magic begins only when you begin. Try. Just for 1 month. Work hard. Practice. Study. Give your absolute best. Then return." Leo stood still. For the first time in a long while, he felt a profound quiet settle within him. That night, something fundamental shifted. It wasn't just about perfectly inscribed scrawls anymore. It was about proving something to himself, to the hidden voice, to the world. The next day, Leo set a rigorous new routine. He started waking an hour earlier to trace invisible characters in the frosty morning air, strengthening his hand. After lessons, he practiced his inscription until the moon ascended high above the valley. He stopped making excuses in the study hall and began asking thoughtful questions instead. There were days he was exhausted, days he wanted to quit, days his hand ached and his mind wandered, but he persevered, not for the enchanted quill, but for himself. Weeks transformed into months, and slowly, imperceptibly at first, things changed. His lesson scores soared. He started contributing insightful comments confidently during debates. In the scribe hall, he no longer waited for the perfect line to appear. He actively pursued it, fearless and focused. And then, one day, during the annual Grand Scribe competition, Leo didn't just write well. He flawlessly inscribed 3 complex ancient scrolls, each a masterpiece. The entire assembly erupted in applause. His fellow scribes lifted him onto their shoulders. His eyes sparkled, but it wasn't the shimmering quill he looked at. It was the arduous, rewarding journey he had undertaken. That evening, as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of amber and violet, he walked back to the same ancient oak tree. He stood there quietly. The magnificent quill was still in his hand, yet he no longer believed it held the true magic. He whispered into the fading light, "I understand now. The magic was never in the quill." From behind the moss-covered trunk, Master Ilara stepped out slowly. Leo looked at her in surprise, but he wasn't shocked. Part of him already knew. "Thank you, Master Ilara," he said softly, a genuine smile gracing his lips, "for making me believe in myself. We spend so much of our lives looking outside for magic, in expensive objects, in shortcuts, in convenient excuses. But real magic doesn't come from what you hold or what you own. Real magic comes from what you do, especially when no one's watching. The world may give you tools, Leo, but effort is what turns them into power. And the moment you stop blaming and start becoming, that's when the true transformation begins. So if you're waiting for a miracle, stop. Start. Because the miracle you're hoping for is already inside you. It just needs a little practice to awaken.